Yo, so welcome back. Lesson number 2. So in last week's lesson we learned the notes from 0 to 12 on the E string. Just in case I didn't make this clear in last week's video, when you get to number 13, what note is number 13? So most of you have probably already guessed the answer. When you're on fret number 1, as you know, that's F. And when you're on, say, fret number 3 here, that is G. So up here on fret number 13, that is F, and fret number 15 is G. In other words, once you get to fret number 12, it's like you're back to the beginning again. All the notes just repeat. So fret 13 is F, then this is G. When you get up here to 17, which will be 5 frets up from the 12th fret, that is A, and so on and so forth. Okay, so this week what I want you to do is write a riff on the E string. So I just want you to be creative, come up with any kind of a riff. I've just kind of come up with a riff myself. So that's my riff that I've came up with, and I want you to come up with your own riff. Just whatever kind of riff it is. It can be longer than that, shorter than that. If you're having any trouble making up your own riff, it can have anywhere from, as long as it has 3-4 different notes in it, you could call it a riff, you know. There is no real rule to this. If you're having trouble with kind of coming up with an idea for a riff, maybe think about like a riff like, for example, Seven Nation Army, and start playing the Seven Nation Army riff, and then maybe just kind of come up with something similar, or or play Smoke on the Water and come up with something similar. Doesn't matter how good or bad it is. This is just about getting into being creative. Okay, so then when you're uploading your video, there's a few. I want you to upload a video of the riff that you came up with, but there's a few more things I want you to add into the video. I want you to figure out what is the first note in your riff and what is the last note in your riff. Okay, so for example, in my riff, so my first note is on the 5th fret here, so that means my first note is A. And then I go down to the 3rd fret here, which is G. So the two notes, my riff starts on A and ends on G. So now what I know is that I can put in some chords in behind my riff. So I can put in the chord of A, or you can play A over here, of course. And then the other chord I can put in is G. So what I want you to do is start off your riff and play your riff. Or you could go, for example, you could do it that way, or you could also, if your riff was similar to mine, you can start off and you can play your chord, the chord of A. It's a little bit tricky maybe playing the chords and the riff at the same time, but I want you to tell me in the video, okay, my riff starts on A and it finishes on G. Now there's a few other things you could do. If you really want to go fancy, that's a perfectly fine video. Another thing you could do, which would be amazing, is if there's somebody else in the house that plays an instrument, you could ask them to play the chords of A and G. Or obviously your riff is going to be different to mine, but you could ask them to play some chords in behind you. So for example, I've recorded this little piece here on my looper. Okay, so that's me playing A and then going into G. Now I'll play my riff. Or another option you could do is you could get like a phone, record yourself playing the chords of A and G, and then you can record your you could play your riff over it and have somebody video it. You could be creative with that, you know. But essentially, yeah, if you just put in a video playing a riff, tell me what the notes are that it starts on and ends on, and then try to see if you can do some backing music. And if you can't do backing music, that's no problem, but just at least play the riff. And cool, and I look forward to seeing your videos. Okay, take care, have a good week.